Today folks, I've got a very special treat for you, because today I'm at St Andrew's Church at Greenstead juxta Ongar, which is the oldest wooden church in the world and the oldest wooden staved or palisaded building in Europe. Greenstead Church has been standing for nearly 1,200 years, and archaeological evidence suggests that before there was a permanent structure, there may well have been another church or holy place on the site for much longer, and possibly dating back to around the 4th century. Construction of the first permanent church on this site is thought to have begun shortly after St Ced began his conversion of the Saxon people around 654 AD. The archaeological remnants of two simple wooden buildings were discovered under the present chancel floor, and these are thought to have been built in the late 6th or early 7th century. The dormer windows which stand beside me at the rear and also at the front are actually Victorian replacements to earlier ones, and they absolutely set off the whole wonderment of the site. They add very much what I would describe a more Scandinavian feel to the entire building, which is quite self-evident when we go inside the actual church. Behind me is a church tower spire which was constructed in the 17th century, and a further addition inside is a bell inscribed "William the Land made me 1618", and I think that this town spire actually sets off the entire structure, and it's certainly a focal point for visitors who come to the church. One of the earliest graves here is that of a Crusader knight who was buried in the 12th century. There isn't much more known about him, but it gives you a taste of the history of this wonderful building. In fact, in the year 1013, King Edmund was actually kept, his body was kept, I should say, over here overnight on his way back for reburial at Bury St Edmunds, hence the name of the town. Okay, I'm actually inside the church now, and the camcorder is actually set to a low light mode because it is very dark in here. There are very few windows apart from the dormers that provide much light, and even as I'm talking to you I have the main church door open so that you can actually see me. It's very dark. So what I'm proposing to do very shortly is to use my night shot camcorder, which may provide something interesting to share because it is that dark. Okay, I'm going to go on to my other night shot camcorder, so the video frame will vary. I'll leave this one to run and try and touch base with whatever is here. I can feel a number of influences around me, and it certainly feels very positive. So hopefully we might be able to capture something to camcorder. Okay, I'm now on cam. Just going to wander around. Show you some of the carvings here which you can't appreciate on normal light mode. Isn't that exquisite? And the same over here too. Absolutely beautiful. There's a wharf, I believe, on one of the beams. Let's have to see if we can find it. Unfortunately, that light above is not helping, but the carving is here. But remember those oak posts from the outside? Well, this is the split side, which is absolutely smooth and gives a panelled effect inside the church. Okay, the chancel again is always the strongest draw for energy. Now, where I'm standing in the chancel was where they found the remains of two earlier churches, which could almost push this church back, I believe, to around about between 600 and 800 AD. That's quite incredible, isn't it? Okay, let's try and touch base with spirit. I come here in love, light and peace into this wonderful, beautiful church. I mean no harm or offence, I just wish to make friendly and peaceful contact. Are there any presences here who would like to say something or to give a sign of their appearance to me? The cooing, unfortunately, is a pigeon. There's not much I can do about that. I keep seeing swirls of grey mist energy moving around me. It's always problematic with these recording devices as to whether any of this will be recorded. At the far end of the chancel, a very warm, very friendly, very accommodating presence of a man in his 40s, bearded. I think he was a priest or cleric of some description. This is going back before the Reformation of the church. Can you tell me your name, please? It's got a stoop, slightly hunched. Father, it begins with an I. I was thinking like something like Emmanuel, or doesn't feel right. It's something with an I. Could it be Ignatius or something? This man is like a monk rather than just as modern day interpretation of a priest, for example. Could you tell me your name, please? Could you speak to me? The jet's flying high overhead, but I can hear a deep guttural voice. sure she was a nun. She was dressed in medieval clothing with like a scarf or something on her head. Sides covered from wearing a very heavy dress which covers her entire body. I have the impression she is looking for somebody. She is here to look for someone. She's got this impression of her moving around very quickly, excitedly, agitated. Nothing horrible. Strange. Spirits of the church, people that are here in spirit, could you please give me a sign? Could you show me a sign of your presence here today? This chair, oak, so it's a modern replacement of a medieval style chair, folding chair I believe, like a monk's chair. Has a very strong attachment to it of energy, very worldly, authoritative feel to it. I'm now going to sit here for a few minutes and meditate as best I can. It's just a lovely place to be. It's in a beautiful part of the Essex countryside. And it's such a wonderful building, despite the fact it doesn't have a lot of light inside. But I think that adds to the character, really. Up the name of a lady called Agnes, who sat in this pew in the stall area. One of the parishioners who's in spirit, passed on from old age and is still very attached to this building. Very bony hands, very thin, withered face, very elderly as I'm seeing her. Over 80 years old, 70 years attached to this church. That's a long time for a human to be attached to one place. Such a wonderful church. Okay, there is a party of tourists or visitors arriving at the church, so I'm actually going to stop now. It'd be interesting to see, obviously, whether we've actually got anything to share. But I can say this church is one very special place. and one that I would certainly love to return to. And of course I would love to investigate at night, but the likelihood of that actually taking place is probably about zero. But I'm so grateful that I've been allowed to at least film inside this fantastic building.